Hey, I want to make a little more in-depth video of the table I made for my Woodward Fab manual bead roller. There's not a ton of people with info on these tables, and mine was quick and easy and cheap and made it out of scrap, and just wanted to pass it along in case it might help somebody. But if you happen to see my other video, I mentioned that I used some holes. I had to have the table off to make something the other day, so that'd be a good chance to make a video. But anyways, I'd already pre-drilled these 6 holes in this for this thing to go on, and what that does is it adds stiffness to this. If you put that plate on there and bolt it down, it makes the whole thing stiffer. And then the idea is to put that plate up as close to your material as you can. And honestly, I use thin material and have been messing with aluminum, and it's been unnecessary. So the holes haven't been getting used anyways, is what I'm getting at. But the holes are there, and that's what I use to attach the table. And this is the table, which is made out of scrap iron that I haven't even cleaned the edge up. This is 18 gauge. I think 20 gauge would probably be heavy enough, but I just cut it down to about what I wanted on size. Just a second, let me get you some dimensions. So on size, I made it 28 inches long overall, and it's like about 14 inches wide. And then I just kind of taped it down for aesthetic reasons, and tapered it down for aesthetic reasons in the back. And then this edge, I think, essentially hits pretty close to the end of the throat there. And then you need to measure from that edge to your rollers. And then your rollers, you need to have room to slide the rollers off the shaft before it hits the table. So leave yourself a little room there. I think my opening's about 4 inches or so. Yeah, 3 3/4, 3 1/2, 3 5/8. I didn't make it real precise. It's kind of a on the fly deal. As you can see, everything's still tacked together. I haven't even finished welding it out. So I don't like to spend a day making stuff like this. I like to just get it done so I can use it. And most of the time I never go back and finish it. But so anyways, to attach it, so I've got this angle iron on here, and then I did the same thing on the other side, but it's removable. It's essentially just a rest. It's not clamping the table, but it gives the table a little bit more to lay on. And if you'll notice, this is offset. You know, it was 13 inches wide, but the center line is 8 1/2-ish. And that's because the roller is offset from the body of the bead roller. So you need to take that into account. It's not going to be a make or break deal, just more cosmetic than anything. So to put the table on, all you do is take it and slide it in there, and essentially already there. And then you can take this piece of angle iron and just roll it in. And then if you can see it, you just put your bolts through there, and that sandwiches the table to the bead roller, and you're off and running. And like I said about the dies and stuff, is just making sure you got room and that you're not hitting your table before you can get your die off. You don't want that hole any bigger than it has to be, because sometimes your material will drop down in there if it's too big, but it's got to be big enough to do that, or you're going to be pulling the table off and on to change dies. But that's pretty much all I did. I just wanted to show a little more detail of what the table was, and give you some rough ideas of dimensions and stuff. Like I said, it works great, and I definitely recommend it being one of the first things you do instead of one of the last, which is what I did. But so it doesn't have to be anything elaborate. It'll get the job done. So I just wanted to pass that along. One thing I forgot to mention in my usual lack of preparedness, you may have noticed the multiple holes there. I did that to be able to adjust the height of the table for different diameter rollers. And For the most part, I'm just running the table basically all the way down or in the middle hole so far, but I just wanted as much adjustability in that as I could because I didn't know where it needed to be. So I wanted adjustment in case I missed it. And so that's something you can build into yours too. And you can just drill some holes. Start with a small bit to get them piloted, and then you can actually let them, if you see they overlap, you can do that. Then you go back with a die grinder or a file, and you could actually knock them ridges down if you wanted them slotted. But it's getting the job done, and I forgot to mention that in the first part, so if you're still here, that is pretty much the last thing I can think of to tell you on this other than just getting out there and getting it done. So.